So, I am here today with Jaclyn Cerón.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Creators Weekly.
We finally did it.
Beautiful set here.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for being here with us. You are somebody that I definitely wanted to pick your brain a little bit more because I've seen you really active in the last couple years since I met you. Yeah. And where I met you was actually the Health and Wellness Expo in 2018. So it's been a few years now. Yeah. And you did a HIIT workout.
I did.
Yeah, that was really cool. So I kind of want you to explain to us who you are, what you do, and kind of a little bit of your journey along the way.
All right. So we met at the Health and Wellness Expo, which was awesome because I feel like I met a lot of people that I've kept in contact with.
Absolutely.
And that's a really cool way just to network and stuff. But I'm a hairdresser. Yes. I've been doing hair for 15 years now, and I love it. Absolutely. I'm very creative. There's something that I enjoy about helping people like feel a little pep in their step, feel a little bit more confident, happier, just even, just when they're in my chair or just in general. And I was never into fitness at all. In fact, I'm not a fitness trainer. I admire anybody in the business space because business is hard, like starting from the scratch. And what happened with me was I was in a really dark place in my life after I had my second, and I felt kind of ashamed about sharing that side. You know what I mean? But I went through a little bit of a depression, just lots of health issues, and I was feeling really stressed out because my son had a really difficult journey as well. And I felt horrible in my skin. I had a really hard time just getting back to me. I felt like I was living on the outside, just like everything was great, hanging by a thread. And when you're in a business space, working with somebody, your energy, I don't know, I just believe that your energy is very contagious sometimes. Absolutely. And it got to the point where I felt like my clients could see that through me. And so I really needed to make a shift and tried the whole working out at home thing. I was really hesitant at first just because I was like a constant, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna start Monday, I got this, and then
every Monday just comes and goes,
and then it would just like so I just had enough. I think that's what really caused me to go into it, and I fell in love with Team Beachbody and the community, and I just started sharing my journey. I just started sharing to hold myself accountable. Absolutely. That's really how it all started. Absolutely. And then I was like, oh, people want to know what I'm doing. I could help people. And so it just sort of evolved from there. I gravitated toward it. I didn't care, that I looked dumb to some people.
And your clients, I'm sure, noticed the shift in your mood.
People were like, what are you doing? And then first they're like questioning what you're doing, and you're just going to quit that diet, or their mindsets. All of us, we all have a negative mindset sometimes, but that just changed for me, and it's turned into so many more passions. I mean, it's another platform to help me help people. Yes. And
so that's where I kind of saw your journey begin, was with the health. And then I found out you were a hairdresser. Yeah. And then I just saw all these amazing things just coming out of you. Like all of a sudden you had a blog post, you had your now podcast, and that to me is inspiring.
Thank you.
I like seeing people grow into themselves, whatever age we are, because hey, we're in our 30s, but I feel like we're barely like figuring out our path and giving back in a sense to fulfill not only ourselves but hopefully help other people. And I love watching that.
Thank you.
I also, as much as you're comfortable with, I wanted to kind of see, obviously it's not easy all the time, and we were kind of talking about that a little bit before the cameras turned on. You do have a lot on your plate. You have 2 kids, you have a house that you're remodeling, you have a husband, you have therapy, you have it's Girl Scouts, like you have a lot going on. So your creativeness has definitely branched out into a lot of things, but how do you balance it all?
Well, I think we can say that, I don't know, I don't think I believe in balance at all, and I feel like I believe in alignment. And it took me a while to believe that, because somebody that I admire said, you're not overwhelmed, you're out of alignment. And I'm like, Okay. And I really realized that sometimes, just like you said, we're not on our, we're on our path, we're discovering who we are, and who we were yesterday might not be who we are tomorrow.
Exactly.
And we're the writers of our story, and I just decided to just step into who I want to be and focus on being better. And on my tough days, I just sort of like step back a little bit and share that, and I allow myself to feel that.
That's so important because you are open about the days that are tough. And for a long time, when I started my YouTube channel, even though no one really watched it, I was vlogging and I would talk about my hard days because I think that's the most important message.
It's relatable. That's what
so
people want to see.
Relatable, and it's truth, you know, and people want to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they have, you know, even if it is through a YouTube video or a podcast, that they have someone to talk to in a sense, you know. So I very much admire that you share the struggles because it's helped me get to know you a little bit better. And it's also, I'm sure it's helped many other moms out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to sometimes, when I first started, truly like going all in and saying, oh wow, like this is truly a business. I should really try to utilize this to get more clients.
Yeah,
you know, I started having that business mindset of it, and I was like, I gotta learn.
Yeah.
And I am the type of person that I make sporadic decisions, and it drives my husband crazy.
Same.
And I'm like, I'm gonna learn that, and I go do it. You know, I don't need nobody telling me what to do. And that's what I did with this opportunity, and I ran with it. And sometimes it's hard when I see people who join me and they want to like have instant success, and you know, like all these online influencers, and they're looking at people's followers and their likes and their pictures, and I just decided I am going to just be me and find my people. Yes. And that's why I connect with a lot of like moms who are going through this, because they're like, if she can do it, I can do it too.
I love that. I really love that. Now, okay, so we talked a little bit about the hairdressing. So that's probably where you've always been a creative person, right? So then how did it evolve into, because I saw you did vlogs too on your YouTube channel. I saw that.
So
I like that. Yeah, I dug back.
I honestly started, I was like hosting trainings for people joining me, and then I would just like try to share my journey with Elijah, my son, and you want to, and then like it's just about, like we were talking about a few minutes ago before we recorded, is I wanted to feel inspired, and what inspires me the most is when I can be myself.
I love it. And you have a supportive family that's behind you, which is great. So shout out to the husband, because that is not common. You know, that's not always the case. So you're very lucky to have someone that supports your passions and coming into who you are. Yeah.
You're so right, because I know like in the business space, it's really hard when you're starting a business, because you don't see the money like right away.
Absolutely.
And you have really hard days where you feel like you're working for nothing, or like nobody cares,
and the tears come.
Yeah. And then you just overwhelm yourself because your life is happening too, or maybe you and your spouse got into a fight, or you know, just life gets in the way. But that's what separates the successful people with the ordinary people, is that the successful people will keep going.
Absolutely. I've learned that more recently, even though I am 33, that the people that keep getting back up are the ones that are successful. So yeah, I 100% agree with that. And then I also think it's really important, because you are a mom, that you're showing your kids that you can be creative and do this kind of stuff, whatever your heart desires, at any age and any stage. I think that is really important as well. And you get to kind of do creative stuff with the Girl Scouts and with your daughter. And
no, I agree. It's definitely, that's one thing I've learned like this year, is that my role as my daughter's mom and also the troop leader is that I get to show them a lot of the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're so little. But to hear these little things that I'm mentioning to them, I hope will plant seeds for them, because I think about their generation, and you think about how we grew up, they're living in a whole different world. Like they have Snapchat, now TikTok, Insta, Facebook. Like there's so much you can't even keep up with sometimes.
Exactly. I just got a TikTok and I'm like, what am I on here for? What am I on here for? I don't know. I want to, but I'm not good. So
I'm trying to figure that out too. I downloaded the app, but I'm like, once I go in, there's no turning back.
Exactly.
No turning back.
I'm like that too.
Yeah.
How are you on Snapchat? Because I could never get
I stopped using Snap because I feel like I can only connect with the people that are following me on there, and where I can get more reach with Instagram.
I agree. For business-wise, I still haven't even really dove into Facebook for business. I'm all on Instagram. I feel like that's where I've had the best success as far as like actual connection with people.
You should open up a group.
I should.
Yeah, and you should invite all of the people that you've had on your show in there, so like they can network.
That's
just
a
little.
idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Thank you. I will do that. And that's on Facebook, right? The only groups that I'm really a part of on there is some other inspiring people who have added me, and I'm like, awesome. Thank you for having me. So that's a really good idea. See, look at I'm learning business from you.
Yeah, I should add you to my
Please
group.
do. Yeah.
I just bunch of moms. Some are not even moms, and we're just trying to be better versions of ourselves.
I love
and
it.
We just check in with accountability, and if I usually don't hear from somebody for like 2 days, I'll shoot them a text or, hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
how are you doing? It's okay to have those tough days, because a lot of people, I feel like when they fail or they have bad days, because I used to be like this, I would just kind of like be in my shell and disappear, which I still do. But I want them to know that you're gonna have those days. And so that's what I do as a coach. I am not there to be like, you need to get your workout in. I'm there to be like, this is the tools. This has changed my life, and it's changing other people's lives, and you can change yours. You're
kind of infectious, to be honest, like in the best way.
Yeah,
you're kind of like, it's making me realize, because I am that person that literally says, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I'm too tired, or whatever. There's always another Monday, right?
Yeah.
But you're right, like, you have to just do it.
Yeah, I hear so many excuses.
Exactly.
We all have them. We all have excuses.
Yes. Well, that is translated into, so you're coaching. What is the process behind your podcast? Like, what are you trying to do with your podcast? Is it similar, or
it's
something
very different? And I feel like I'm kind of molding myself into a brand right now with that.
You are your brand.
Yeah, exactly. I am my brand. I was doing the Fit Hairdresser for a while, but then I changed my domain to Jaclyn Cerón, because that's me, and I feel like I'm a lot of things. So I'm figuring that out. Cool. But my podcast, it's called Ambitious Mamas Unite, and it was actually called Ambitious Mama first, but somebody messaged me and was like, hey, that's my podcast name. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not trying to spit no haterade. So I just changed the name a little bit.
Okay.
But I really want it to be a space to just give people just tips and strategies on just being better than they were yesterday, or a little uplifting, encouraging inspo, or just interviewing people.
Something they can listen to while they work out.
Exactly.
Maybe.
That's when I listen to podcasts.
Awesome.
Podcasts have changed my life. I said last year I was going to start a podcast, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll put that,
I'll get to it.
And then I went to a conference with Brendon Burchard. Do you follow him?
I think I've only heard the name because of you.
Okay. You should follow him. He's he's like my coach, and he doesn't even know it.
Okay. I got a lot of those actually on. You're one of them too. Yeah, and you don't even know it.
Thank you. And he just challenged us to do something and suck at it.
Okay.
Put something out there, suck at it. In order to have a good book, you have to write like 3 or 4 books before your book hits.
That is so true.
Do something with no mic for a long time. You like my pictures, I didn't have a ring light for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then I haven't even brought out my ring light, and there's just, I don't know, there's so much to learn.
That is actually a really good point, and I have been able to touch on that on a couple episodes, but I think it's very important to let people know you don't need all that fancy equipment. Like, I'm working off of like $12 to $15 mics.
I was like, well, oh, I like your mics. I have one that just stands right here.
I like those though. Those are cool.
Yeah, and I connect it to my phone or my laptop, and I just record from my desktop, and I you know, said I'm going to try to edit, and then I did, and I was like, whoa, this is way too much time for me to edit. I don't have all this time. I have to be smart with my time. And so I just outsourced editing, but I'm learning how to edit it myself, and it's really not as bad as I thought it was.
That's good. So. That's good. No, I learned the hard way. I edit still myself all on an app on my phone. It's a little difficult, but I've now also learned to just do full takes, so I don't do as much splicing unless there's something that someone doesn't want in the interview. But you got to figure out what works for you.
Figure out what you like, and if what was the advice one coach told me? Because in our community we share like social media tips and business tips, and they said something like you just have to just show up and whatever works for you, run with it. Whatever doesn't.
Yeah, no, for sure. For me, I always learn the hard way. So I always tell everyone, just do it. Like, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what works for you. Yeah. So I just say, just do it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Kind of like Nike, but I'm not a Nike
I love it. Such a go-getter.
So, okay. So then it went into your podcast, but you have your blog posts as well.
I do. I have a blog, and same thing. I'll share like recipes and tips, and I honestly like to document my son's journey on there the most.
I like that.
And it's like therapeutic for me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, your son's journey started at birth. So this is, how old is he now?
He's 6 years old.
Oh my gosh. He just had a birthday recently.
Yes.
Right? Not that I'm a stalker of mine or anything, but
he had a birthday, and he's had a long journey. He had a really rough birth, and he didn't come home till he was 5 weeks old, and he had a lot of like bradycardias and desaturations, which are where your heart rate just drops.
That's scary.
And he started turning blue plenty of times. And I remember when they said we were airlifted to Children's, and they said we can go home. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I was really afraid. And so a lot of just milestone changes, delays, and he doesn't have an autism diagnosis, but he has a lot of autism-like behaviors, which makes it kind of hard for me in the process of getting services sometimes, and just being on top of paperwork.
I feel like you're really on top of it, though.
Yeah, it's just draining sometimes.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. You got to do what you got to do for your kids, right?
Absolutely. So. I learned that, obviously, I don't have any children, but my sister, so my parents adopted 6 little ones.
Oh.
Yeah, there's 9 of us all together. 3 of us biologically, and then 6 adopted, and they're all under 15. And most of them have been with us since they were babies. Like, I think the oldest that came to live with us was probably like 4 when she came. Now she's 15. So
wow.
But one of my sisters, she was born with a rare form of leukemia. So my mom has been the saint, literally, like Children's Hospital all the time.
Chemo and radiation.
They were in the Children's Hospital in 2018, I believe. Was it 17 or 18? I think it was the rough year that I was having for 4 months straight.
It's really hard to see like your loved ones go through that.
It was crazy. I was going every other day so I could spend time with my mom and my sister and try to like relieve it a little bit. So I feel for you, because I saw my family go through that, you know, and they're still going through it. My sister gets flown out to Washington, D.C. every year to a children's hospital over there, where she gets treatments and different tests done. But my mom's a fighter too, so I think she might need to listen to your podcast and become one of your ambitious mamas.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I admire that. My mom had cancer when I was pregnant with Elijah.
Oh my God.
She had her 2nd cancer, and she's the one who taught me a lot about, like, I think she's the one that changed me, to be honest, before anything started, because life is too short. You know, when you can't get out of bed to go feed your dogs, that's depressing. And you have to be grateful for everything you have, even on the tough days. And that's something that I do is do you ever write down like what you're grateful for every day?
I have a little journal that my best friend, shout out to Nicole, gave me. So cool. And it's a little check-in journal, so I do write down what I'm grateful for.
Those are everything. Like just a little either AM routine. I would, on a good day, I'll do night too, but for the most part, every day I'll do morning, where you just think about, like, what do you have to do today? Check in with yourself before you check in with your social. Because once you start checking in with your social in bed, scrolling before you get out of bed, right? you're already giving your time to people.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's been a game changer for me.
See, I'm not religious about it. I don't do it every day, but I should.
It's okay. And I do that too. Like on the tough days, I could feel a difference on the days that I actually do versus the days that I don't. But we're all human. Absolutely. I mean, but we're living in such a noisy world, and that's the whole point, is to remember
the calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Huge believer in the calm. I feel like you have to decompress, and I might be too guilty of it where I need to relax a little too much, but
I feel like you're like my soul sister.
I'm an Aquarius through and through. I know myself. I'm very in tune with myself. So like you said, it's okay to say you had a podcast interview scheduled and kind of put it to the side. Let them know, hey, let them know what's going on. And be okay with the boundaries too, because you have to be your best in order to give your best.
Yeah.
And I definitely believe that.
Yeah. Like when it comes to planning content and stuff, I used to just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants. And then when I started thinking more like a content strategy when it comes to recording my podcast, because I need to have that. I can't just, you have to have a plan, and some days you just are not feeling creative. I mean, how do you find your inspiration?
Honestly, I do find a lot through other creatives. Like I have luckily a lot of creatives that are around me. My husband's a creative. We work out of a creative space. I work for an interior designer. Like I'm very blessed in the sense that I have all these creative people around me.
Yes.
And I think just watching them flourish and grow helps me find inspiration within myself to do the things that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I just said this in my last interview, that I don't say like bad bitches or anything like that, but like it inspires me to watch people kicking ass, and doing what they want to do.
Right.
Yeah, and not caring what the world says around them.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing that ever since high school. I knew I wanted to do hair, and my mom was kind of like, you gotta go to college, and I'm like, no. So I went to beauty school. I went to professional makeup artistry school in LA, and I thought I wanted to do movie sets, and so I did the whole avant-garde thing. And then I even my mom had me like in a talent agency when I was younger, and I got signed.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I left because it wasn't for me.
Okay. That was for acting or modeling?
It was for talent, like dancing, and they were representing me. And I remember we were doing our photos, and they were like telling me I needed to lose weight, and I was like, huh. But I really liked that the lady was doing my makeup. Yeah. And I was like, I want to do what you're doing. And so I just pursued behind the chair.
I like it.
Yeah. And so the only time I've ever clocked in for a job is like when I was at the Toppers call center.
There you go.
When I was like 17.
We probably met back then because I was always calling to Toppers.
Yeah. So I work on commission well, actually now rental, but I work for myself. I've always worked for myself, and
I love it.
I never take that for granted, even though being your own boss is a lot harder.
It is.
Than being an employee. It's a lot harder. I feel like, right? You work so much harder when you work for yourself.
A lot longer, a lot harder. Yeah, your days don't really end at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Or your mind doesn't turn off, and like
Never.
that's something I'm trying to work on, is I just want to be a present person.
I agree. I definitely agree. That's what I'm trying to pursue this year, is being more present, taking advantage of my calm when I have those moments, and enjoying every moment for what it is, because that's, like you said, that's all we have.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does take tough situations to remind us that, but we wouldn't be where we are without them. So
it's so true. And I got this one thing from a book that I read, the 5 a.m. Club, and talks about how sometimes you have to allow yourself to have the calm, like make it happen, because that's when your creativity comes.
That's true.
You have to let yourself heal, and through that healing, new ideas and new adventures come.
That is very true. And you also have to, and I heard this somewhere, where you also have to get out and live, because some people forget when you're working, you don't give yourself just the calm, but also get out and have fun a little.
Okay, that's me.
Where's your story come from?
I need to do that more. Have you been talking to my husband?
A little.
No, I'm such a homebody. It's sad. Like, I love being home on my laptop with my family, doing nothing with my coffee.
But those are your people. I get it. I get it. But yes, you do need to. There's the whole meme that says, schedule a coffee date with a friend.
Yeah.
Do this, da, da, da. You have to do it, because even if it like gets you out of bed that day or out of the house, it feels good. Just
you're so reminding me right now. That was one of my goals this year, is make more friend time. And my husband's like, yeah.
But see, the cool thing with what you do is you can incorporate that, even though it's kind of cheating, into your like ambitious side.
I should, huh?
You can start like a little group, like
so
Girl Scouts.
true.
You could do once a week or once a month.
That is so true. Like a club, like a book club, or just hanging out
and just do it on a Sunday.
That sounds like so much fun. That's
I'm coming,
really
even though
idea.
I'm not a mom. Well, I'm a dog mom, so I'm coming. I invited myself.
Oh man, that's a really good idea.
You should. Yeah. And that's also where I get my inspiration. We just bounce off of each other. You know, that's what these things are for.
Yeah.
But okay, so I definitely want to plug everything that you have, because I want to make sure that everyone knows where to find you.
Okay.
And then I kind of want you to let me know what you have planned for the future. If there's anything that we should be on the lookout for, or what you haven't even told your social media followers.
Well, honestly, what I have going on is, you can find me on social media, and I'm under Jaclyn _Cerón, and everybody spells my name wrong. So
I'll have her tagged.
It's Jaclyn _Cerón. I am very open, so I share a lot of stuff on my stories, and I love connecting with people on there. So just shoot me a DM and just tell me you saw this or something. And let's connect, because I feel like the world needs
Make sure
that.
you tell her that you saw her on Creators Weekly.
Yes.
And that you loved it.
And I will share with my people too.
Thank you.
I love your show. You've actually interviewed a lot of people.
I try. Yeah. Anyone that will talk to me.
And then I saw that you interviewed what's his name, the owner of Sam's again?
Sky.
Yes. Okay. Me and Sky, I haven't talked to him in forever, but he's cousins with one of my really good friends growing up. We grew up here in Ventura.
Did you go to Boynton?
I did, for 1 year.
So you must have gone to school with Leo Martinez.
I don't know.
Him and my husband own the shop.
Oh,
so they are the owners. But he went to school with Sky. So he's at that age.
Okay, so I didn't know anybody that age, because I was younger with his cousin Jasu.
Okay.
But I ended up going to Channel Islands. After that.
Okay.
We moved to Oxnard.
But it is a small world, though.
It is.
Everyone's connected somehow. Well, I'm glad you got to see that episode.
Thank you.
It was a good one. He was very informative, and he got to talk about the name change on his business, which I'm excited about.
That is so cool. I know. I remember when it was like his dad owned it back in the day. It was pretty cool.
I love Ventura County for that reason, because we really do have a lot of creatives. And I think just in the more recent past years, like I would say within the last 5 years, I've seen so many more creatives come out of the woodworks, and people that have been creative, just not in the limelight.
Or they don't.
I love watching it.
Yeah, and I'm really into that right now. Like, it's good for people to share the things they love. I always say that, like, you don't know what you're good at. We'll figure out what brings you energy, like what makes you happy, what brings you joy, and do more of that. And then you'll figure it out along the way.
I love it.
Yay.
And what else do you have coming up? So
sorry
I know we get
here.
Okay,
no,
me too.
That's me at home.
I'm supposed to be reeling it in, you know, but
so you can expect a new episode from me about every 2 weeks on my iTunes platform or Spotify. And my podcast is called Ambitious Mamas Unite, and you can just search my name or that title.
Awesome.
That's really what I have going on. I just want to get really good at pitching people, interviewing people, content strategy, and email marketing. That's really my focus right now. So get on my email list. You can do that on my website, jaclyncerón.com.
You are just a business lady. I love it.
I am.
No, I love it. Because really usually I'm like, people, I want to help you sell your art. I want to help you do this, because a lot of times creatives don't have the business aspect, which is fine, because creativity just kind of flows, and they need that for their artistic side. But it's inspiring when you can mix that with a business and make it.
And I'm learning that as a coach, because I don't just coach people on the fitness side. Like, I actually help people.
Life coach.
Yeah, I help people build an influencer type business, like whatever their goals are. So maybe your goal is to help people in the leader aspect of inspiring them and leading them the way, right? And I'm learning as a leader that you almost have to figure out what they're good at and encourage them to do more. And also know that you're still rooting for them. You know, and that's
at every stage. You know?
And everybody is on a different different level. Like when it comes to network marketing, when I see people have a lot of potential and they don't believe, it's usually because one, people don't believe in themselves, or somebody told them something and that's why they don't believe in themselves, or the money, or they think they don't have the resources, right? So we were just talking about how you were filming on your phone, and I do that too. Like you don't need fancy equipment.
You don't need it.
Yeah. And so there's just so much that comes to it, and you just can't get caught up in all the noise. Like, I need to have this, because I used to be like, oh, before I record that training, like I need to know everything.
The best part is, like you said, that connection where people can be like, well, hey, you know, you could do this, and then they probably bounce off of your trainings, and you end up learning from people too. So I think that's important to not know everything.
We should have like a group and just like be women and mastermind. We should do that, because I've been wanting to have my own, start a mastermind.
You should.
And really just do it with like people who are in different businesses than me, and then we check in. We should do that.
We really should, because I also wanted people, like, I liked the idea that you said you give each other like tips on social media and stuff like that, because nowadays we are our own brand and we need to market ourselves. You know, nobody's going to do it for us unless we have lots of money to market, you know. And I feel like I'm always teaching my friends, like, oh, well, you do this on Instagram to be able to do that, or blah, blah, blah. And those little tips actually do help businesses, you know, so I would love to do that, actually.
Yeah, me too, because I was in a couple subscriptions and trainings and stuff, but then I'm like, I know all this stuff already. I just need people to do it with me, to help me, like, to keep me going.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm down for that. I can commit
in a different business, because I do with a bunch of coaches, but
yeah, no, for sure, because then it also just helps the creativity, I feel, and ideas that you didn't think
got something out of this conversation.
Absolutely. So we have the podcast, we have your blog, we have you as an ambitious mama, we have everything,
and you awesome getting people together doing stuff like this. This is so cool. So thank you for having me.
I just like talking to people.
Yes. And I love all the stuff you share too, because
you.
You're super just artistic and open, and
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. I really thank you for being on Creators Weekly.
Of course.
And I can't wait to watch everything you have to come.
Thank you, love. Yay. Thank you.
Painless, hopefully. You're good.
Yeah,
we're done.
You're awesome.
Yay.
That was so cool. Yay. No, but for reals, we should do the mastermind thing.
I'm being serious, because first of all,